everybody, and welcome to Session 0 at long last of what I'm pretty much going to be officially calling the Ready Persona 1 tabletop campaign. I was trying to think of an even cleverer name for this, but honestly, I think Ready Persona 1 or RP1 is a good enough name, so I'm just going to keep it. So we are here with our players. Just so everybody knows who are watching, there was a session -1 that we recorded. If you are interested in seeing session -1, there will be a link below. Basically, what we were doing for session -1 was a lot of world building and trying to decide what kind of themes and what sort of setting our game is going to be. We didn't talk about anything that was really story based, so it's optional. You don't have to watch it, but if you're interested, it's there. But we will be role-playing a bit in Session 0 that will be canon. So if you don't want to miss anything, I do highly recommend that you watch this session to the end, because it probably will affect what happens from Session 1 moving forward. I wanted to start off by letting everybody in the room introduce themselves for the benefit of all of the viewers who are watching who did not see the auditions or any of the interviews. I don't want to make that a requirement because that's a lot of videos to watch. But if you're interested in watching that whole audition process and finding out how all of these people ended up in this campaign, the playlist will be at the bottom. But if you ain't got time for that, let's go around the Zoom chat. Tell us your name, or at least what you'd like us to refer to as, and where you are from, and a brief synopsis of your two characters without giving away any spoilers.
My name is Sage. I'm from Utah, in the United States. I am playing Cade Oz, who is a serial killer who has been captured and incarcerated. That is my IRL character, and then my in-game character is Chrono, who is best described as a blink blade.
For the people who don't know what a blink blade is, can you describe that, actually?
It's somebody who teleports with a sword. Stabs a lot of people.
Alright, everyone. My name is Joe. I am the token ginger from this group. I'm gonna say it.
The only reason he's in this campaign.
The only reason I'm here. And I will be playing Abe, who is a voice actor for the game that we're gonna play. So he's gonna do a lot of good accents, hopefully some good accents that don't offend anyone. And a virtual character will be more of an illusionist. So no damage dealing here, just supporting and doing some tricksy stuff.
Is there a name for your character? Or your in-game character?
Mm-hmm. He's going by the Knave of Diamonds.
The Knave of Diamonds. I love it.
My name's Ethan. Some people call me Frenchie, or I'm Master French on the Discord. I go by he, him. I have no real preference, though. And I do have a cat who also is a he, him. I will be playing a dragonborn orchestral director named Forrest, who is a they, them. Doing music things, and that's mostly it. A little bit of Dragonborn things too. But in the virtual world, they will be the Black Widow-esque character Yellow, counterfuge, and kick-ass spy.
My name's Kyle. I'm going to be playing Gabriel Stoll, the Asimar, and he is a game developer that works on the game currently. And his video game persona is Odin the Allfather, this powerful tank that has the ability to transform to different forms, like some sort of magical girl, basically.
Sweet. Thank you all. Let me continue by asking a few more icebreaker questions. Again, just to sort of get a good idea and sense of the type of goals that you might have for your characters. So, would each of you please share with us, without giving away, again, any major spoilers, what are some of the goals that you, the player, have for your characters? What would you like to see happen with them during the course of the story?
In the case of Cade, I feel like I'm exploring him as much as anybody else, that I don't have a set plan or I know where he's going to end up, but I am quite excited to see where he ends up and explore it. So he's very much so a character I want to be revealed to me as much as anyone. As for Chrono, I want to have it be a direct distinction to Cade and be able to roleplay two very different personalities. And that's what I'm looking forward to from these guys.
So for Gabriel, he's in the point of his life where I think he kind of has not had a lot of social connections. And I think I want him to eventually open up and kind of regain a lot of the stuff that he's kind of given up. Yeah, he's kind of given up basically a social life and relationships for his career. And I hope to use Odin as a way to also like better his real world character through his virtual.
Well, for Ave, I want to explore basically the broken family. I want to explore how he is affected by it, how his other family members are affected by it, just how it will evolve in the future with this campaign. For the virtual character, I think I really just want to see him fail, because he has such a high. He thinks he's the best, and I just want to see him being outsmarted. Really, just let him fail, make him suck.
But my goals as a player, honestly, I'd love to explore for us as a character. I have a lot of interesting ways some of the interactions could go with both NPCs and players. And I've noticed a few parallels across our backstories of that which I know of. And a lot of sort of self-discovery for us. And the thing about Yellow is just wanted to look badass. That's all it is. Just be cool, play a game, have fun.
The last icebreaker question I would like to ask all of you is, what are you all hoping, again, as a player, out of character, what are you all hoping to get out of this experience through this next year, and what are you hoping to get out of each other?
As a player, I would like to challenge myself as a role player and grow as a role player, falling more into these characters that I consider somewhat difficult to role play. With my playmates, I'm wanting to make friends, and I'm wanting to get to the point where we're synergizing and we can do cool combos together. We can do cool shit together. I look forward to that moment.
So I'll start with the other players. I never played as a player in a campaign with other people than the friends that I play with all the time. So I want to, see some other types of just playing the game, really. Just explore how everyone plays in his own way. Just have some diversity in that. And from the campaign, the reason I try to get in this campaign from the beginning was just to experience the campaign GM by heart, because I want to learn how to GM in your way as well. I want to, that's a lot about my GMing, is I just want to see so many different ways of doing it that I can take the best out of everything.
I think what I want to get from this personally is, one, I think like many other, learn the role play better, because a lot of my campaigns, I think I said before, they have role play, but they're not role play heavy. Some people role play more than others, but this will force me to gain more skills and also work with other people, where other people bring their own kind of stuff. So you kind of simulate, or like you get a little bit more better that way. And in terms with everyone else, I think it's the same way. Is I want to get close to everyone. I want to, because I think the core of a best core of a game is when people get along, not just in game or it's out of game, and mainly out of game is better. So I want to get close to everyone. But with me, that's it.
Well, that just leaves me. What I want out of this I want to have fun. That's mostly it. I'm sure there's alternative motives. I love doing kooky voices and having stupid RP moments and bringing other people in and pushing some other people out sometimes. Inter-party conflict, having a lot of fun, just RPing, screwing around sometimes. And a little bit on what Joey said, I do kind of just want to have a game RP'd by Angel Arts Heart there. I'm somebody who watches a lot of DMs and a lot of people in general as they perform and act as well as do D&D. That is one of my passions. I would love to explore that with all of you and hopefully make some friends along the way too.
I will answer this question as well. And I'll start with what I almost always say every year. One of the big things I want to try to get out of the experience is to learn how to be a better GM, and to learn from you all, because every single game is different, every single player is different, and even if you play with players that you've played with before, the combination of players in a group can also change the dynamics, and you can learn from that. So that's one of the biggest things that I like to be able to gain from this, is every single year I learn something new. And sometimes, in fact, oftentimes, the lessons are learned in a hard way. I learn things the hard way a lot. So hopefully, if hard things happen, hopefully I learn from it, is what I'm trying to say. But if not so hard things happen and I still learn from it, then that's great too. The other thing is, this is my quote-unquote penultimate campaign. It is the last campaign that I have with fresh new people that have gone through this whole process that I've been doing for the last 8 years. And because of that, I kind of would love to end with some sort of a bang. That's less pressure on you all, and it's more pressure on me. Just because with every time I do this, I try really hard to not disappoint you all. Because I always feel like I have to outdo whatever I did in the last campaign, and I know that if I start thinking in that way, it's just going to set me up for failure. So really, all I'm trying to do is to try to, make this the best campaign that we can make by making it fun, hopefully, for everybody, by trying to help empower you all to bond with each other and to form these friendships, and hopefully make some really fun experiences around the table. And hopefully in doing so, we will be able to deliver something that you all will have fun doing, and in doing so, we'll make it fun for other people to watch as well. I'd like to have us all find that moment where we all just click as a group. That moment where we all feel like there's this level of trust, and there's this level of comfort, and there's this level of psychological safety, from the player's perspective, and, the ability to not just be willing to take risks and make bold choices and not be afraid to fail or make mistakes, things like that. That happens, hopefully it'll happen at some point while we play, hopefully sooner rather than later. So those are just some highlights of things that I'd like to get out from this experience. The last thing I'm going to do, as I said, is put each of you individually on the spot, because I enjoyed doing that. Sage, let me move to you. So when we were trying to narrow down who was going to be in the campaign, we did have a committee of 6 people, I think. I think it was 6 or 7 people. We had locked in the players, and we only had 1 spot left. And we were able to narrow things down by process of elimination down to 5 people. And so I asked every committee member, give me your hard no, your hard yes, your yes, and your in between. Every single committee member had you as a hard yes, with the exception of one, and that one person gave you a yes.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you, committee. You interviewed very well. Your audition was very well polished, which makes sense because you do run a YouTube channel. So that does put you at a little bit of an advantage in terms of just plain practice, presenting yourself. You were very composed during your interview. The biggest reason why I put you in the chemistry read in the first place is because I just wanted to verify how well you'd play with other players, especially the players who are quieter or might have a harder time pushing themselves into the spotlight. And I observed that you handled that very well. You were able to jump in and back off as needed. I wasn't surprised, but I just wanted to see it for myself. The other thing I was looking for was just to see how effectively you were able to take a potentially problematic and risky character like Cade, and to see how he would fare in actual roleplay. And really, all throughout that sequence, when we did the Walking Dead part of that audition, even though we all know this man's dark history, I was still rooting for him, like, throughout that scene. And so it takes a lot of skill to take a character like that and make them sympathetic. So all of the committee members agreed, we want to see more of that. That's what we want to watch. So that's one of the biggest reasons why you're in the campaign stage. So thank you.
Thank you, Hart. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Joey, you're Ginger.
Yeah,
Thank you
of
for
course.
joining the campaign.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, moving on to Kyle. No. No. Joey, every single time people in the community spoke about you, they all just said that you are just a super likable person. You have this, like, very approachable personality. You've just got this, like, disarming personality, in a good way, disarming. You're very enthusiastic, and it's infectious. And actually, both you and Kyle share this. You're enthusiastic on Discord, especially in the Persona 1 chats. You're very active, which is great. You're sort of like the cheerleaders of the group, the both of you. And even though you had the shortest interview of them all, thanks to Ella just being so great at keeping everything within time. Even though yours was the shortest, I got everything I needed from you out of it. Like, I felt that you were able to fully represent yourself within that window of time very effectively. I didn't bother putting you into the chemistry read at all, because I know that you can play well with others. I can tell that you would just get along with everybody. I figured that it was a no-brainer to just put you in the campaign. So that's why you're here, Joey.
Thank you. Those really nice words.
Well deserved. Kyle. So I'm not sure if you noticed this, Kyle, but when I interviewed you, I told all of my candidates what my biggest reservation for them was. Everyone except you.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think because I think it's still based off the question of because the difference of the question was that you asked me was, what do you think either I did wrong last time I auditioned or what I've done differently? So, and I think you might have been looking for if I caught that same thing or like I saw, and to see if I improved on what you thought was the thing I failed last year.
I think that's related. What I was going to say is the reason why I didn't tell you what my biggest reservation for you was is because I didn't have any. I couldn't think of any.
Yeah.
I was able to think of someone for everybody else. I couldn't think of one for Kyle, and I tried. Let me just be specific. I'm not saying that there aren't ways that you can improve. I'm saying that anything that I could have said would have been nitpicky. Like, really, really nitpicky. Yeah, Kyle, I didn't have any really reservations that I thought was worth mentioning. Because, again, the committee also agreed, you're very likable, and I don't think anyone had anything bad to say about you, and I think you're super drama-free, you don't carry any baggage with you, you seem to do very well, you're pretty solid just in role-playing, and, just your interview questions, I asked you some pretty hard-hitting questions, and you didn't hesitate on any single one of them. You had an answer right away. Most everybody else, they had to think about it for like a few seconds, but as soon as I asked you both of the hard questions, you were just like ready to go, and I was really impressed by that. That you didn't even flinch when I asked you the hard-hitting questions. So yeah, I think just all around, you were very close to being in last year's campaign, the Athenaeum tabletop campaign. Which is why I was very excited to see you audition again, and you just, more than exceeded my expectations. So, thank you, Kyle, for auditioning again and being here. And that leaves me with Ethan. So Ethan, I have to be very transparent with you. Of all the candidates throughout the years, you were the one who surprised me the most. And I need to apologize to you because I feel like I've overlooked you over the last few years. Because you went from a person who had been auditioning multiple times to a person who got into an interview for the very first time and then got into the campaign immediately afterwards. I think I underestimated you, I think, within the last couple of years. Because I looked at your first couple of auditions when you auditioned, and I don't know if you've looked at them before, but they were fine. But the first one, they were auditions. I think the difficulty, the challenge of them was it just didn't seem like you were having fun or like really getting into it, at least in the first one. So I wasn't really sure how like interested you'd be in playing in the game. And then as you watch progressively every single year, there was just this really interesting little progression. The thing that I noticed that was about you that I thought was different from every other auditioner is there was that moment when Callista was asking you an interview question about, I think it was what type of Pokemon you would be, and then you had the ballsy move of asking her the question back after you asked the question back to her, which, to be perfectly honest, I don't think you did it because you were trying to show off. I think you did it because you generally were curious and you generally wanted to know a little bit more about Callista. And so after your interview was over and I asked Callista for her thoughts, one of the things that she told me, she volunteered this, like just from the very beginning, was she said, I wanted to let you know, Hark, that, in order to prep for the interview, she was asking you a bunch of questions about your character and about your worlds and everything. And she said, Ethan also kept asking questions about myself. Like, it seemed like he really genuinely wanted to get to know me just as much as I was trying to get to know him. And I'm like, that's really interesting. I don't think any other interviewer has done that before. So there's something there. I was like, there's something there about this guy that is really unique, and I like that. So, I don't know. I think that speaks highly for your character. I think that you as a person really affected a lot of people positively. And your audition, even though it was at the last minute this year, it was very charming. When I watched you actually role play as Yellow, both in the interview and during the chemistry read, I was like, you keep saying that you break out of character a lot, but I disagree. I think the thing with you, what I noticed is that even when you're not speaking, even if somebody else, another character speaking, you're still in character. Like, your facial expressions, your body language, you're still your character, and you're still reacting to the things that other people are saying, which is not what everybody does. So that also, like, kept me, gave me something to consider too. So you're better than you think you are, Ethan, and you're here because you deserve to be here. So do not shortchange yourself, my good man.
Thank you.
He never gets out of character. During that interview, his inner Yellow just hijacked the entire interview.
Cool. All right. I think I'm done stroking all of your egos.
We love you too, Hark.
I'm sorry?
We love you too.
So why we chose you as our chief?
Oh my gosh. before I forget, do all of you have packages from the mail? Do you all have scissors that you can get to open said packages? Do you have your package with you, Sage? Or
So I did get it. I just left it at my house, not where I'm filming.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
my apologies.
You all, it's okay. You all can still open it, and I can verbally tell Sage what he got. So I gave everybody, for the viewers who are watching, I gave everybody a package of something, and I told everyone that you can open it during session 0. So why don't we open it right now? Kyle, do you want to show what you have?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Tarots, but it's Norse themed.
It is Norse themed,
And
which includes,
Odin.
which does include Odin, the Allfather.
Right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right there, Odin, the Allfather, right there. You have the Crow Tarot, Joey, which are
so
all
cool.
a bunch. Yeah. Ethan,
Oh, this is this is so cool. It's a steampunk.
it's a steampunk
Yeah.
tarot.
Very cool.
So, Sage,
is
you got
serial killer.
It's just
no
Tarot cards are
a Sage serial killer.
ready and
No. What he got was it is the Knights Templar tarot cards.
Very cool.
Because essentially, Chrono is more like a knight type of character, Blink Blade. For the viewers out there who do not know, this is loosely based on the Persona video games. It doesn't take place in the Persona universe, however, but a big ongoing theme in many of the Persona games is the tarot cards. And so I did not just give each of the players a tarot deck just because I thought it'd be a cool gift. I mean, it is a cool gift, hopefully. But we're actually going to be using this during the game. Like, there is a game mechanic to this.
Clever man.
So, the way this works is that the tarot cards are divided up into Major Arcana and Minor Arcana. The Major Arcana are probably what people are mostly familiar with when it comes to tarot readings, because it has things like the Death card, or the Fool, or the Magician, etc., etc., etc. And I asked every single player to tell me which tarot card, which Major Arcana tarot card they believe is associated most with their character. So that will come into play very soon. The Minor Arcana are just like the cards from a normal deck of your traditional playing cards. So they have Ace 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to Jack, Queen, King. The difference is their suits are different. So instead of hearts, spades, diamonds, and clubs, you have cups, swords, wands, and coins. And so the way that the game mechanic will work is at the very beginning of every single session, I will ask you all to shuffle your Arcana deck, your Major Arcana deck. So I will ask you to separate your Major Arcana from your Minor Arcana. So at the beginning of each session, by default, everybody is going to shuffle and draw randomly a Major Arcana card, and that Major Arcana card will give some sort of in-game effect for that entire session. What that effect is, I will let you know once you draw. So, that will include today, but because Sage does not have a deck, there should be like a tarot card, like card drawer or something that you can use online just for today's purposes. Before we start the actual role-playing, because I would like for these cards to take into effect as of today, I will ask you to draw from your Major Arcana deck. Your Minor Arcana deck, I also would like for you to shuffle. And the way that I would like the Minor Arcana deck to be used is that you may optionally choose, after you make a roll, to draw from your Minor Arcana deck to get a specific bonus. So, and like I said, you can do this after you see the results of the roll. If you decide to draw from your Minor Arcana deck, if it's an Ace through 10, you divide the value, with Ace being 1. You divide the value by 2, round up, and that is the bonus that you will add to your roll. So the maximum bonus you can add to your roll would be 5 if you drew a 9 or a 10. If the suit of the minor arcana card matches the suits that's associated with your character. Because remember, I said that coins is associated to Ave and swords associated with Cade. I'm sorry, I did not record this, so I should probably also explain this to the viewers who are watching. The world that everybody is in has different factions based on the different suits on the tarot card. So the Confederacy of Coins consists of the military, the government, and law enforcement. The Confederacy of Wands is all about the scholars, the wizards, the engineers. The Confederacy of Coins is about the businessmen, the merchants, and the nobles. The Confederacy of Cups is for the clergy, the socialites, culture and arts, and then there's also a factionless. So Cade, because he is in prison, he's incarcerated, he actually is represented by the Confederacy of Swords. Gabriel, since he is one of the programmers of the actual game itself, he is associated with the Confederacy of Wands. Ave, because his family is a merchant family, he is Confederacy of Coins. And Forrest, as a orchestra director, that's culture and arts, so that would be Confederacy of Cups. So I did not mention what happens if you drew a Jack, King, Queen from your deck. That is actually a penalty. So there is a chance that you might get a penalty. If it's a Jack, it's a -1 penalty. Queen is -2. King is -3. So it's a little bit of a gamble. You're not always guaranteed to get a bonus, but chances are you'll get a bonus, a positive bonus, chances are. If you get one that is associated to your specific suit, then you'll get an additional +2 to your bonus. So it's possible you could get to a +7 if you draw properly. It's also possible that you might negate a queen, or at least make a king, a -3 of a king, only a -1. So, does all make sense to everyone how that system works? And just like hero points, the ability to draw from your minor arcana is use it or lose it. You get one use of that per session. If you never use it for that session, then it just resets back to one use in the next session.
And it's after the roll, so we make the roll look
it's
at
after
it.
the roll.
Okay.
You make the roll, and then you can decide. Even if I'm like, that fails, you could be like, can I draw from my minor arcana? And I should be able to say, yes, you can draw from your minor arcana.
Cool.
After you know what the result of the roll is.
I don't like how you said normally and did the eyes flutter.
Because I never want to say always or never. Never, always are very difficult things for a GM to say.
It's also
But I do not anticipate. Let me say, I do not anticipate there will ever be a reason for me to say no. I don't anticipate that there will be a reason. Cool. So why don't we practice?
It's very convenient that we all fit in one of those 4 minor arcana.
It's almost like I planned it
Wow.
somehow from the beginning.
How could
Almost.
that be? I wonder.
It's like we had a question on our survey. That was weird.
Strange, right?
Before we draw for our major arcana, why don't we go around the room and tell everyone why you chose the arcana that you wanted to represent your character. So let me just go down the list. Ave / Knave, you chose the Magician. Why did you choose the Magician?
A second, because there was a very good reason. The description that I found, it was basically it was all about creativity in a line and just thinking outside the box, that kind of stuff. And then the upside down part was taking it too far, like being manipulative, that kind of stuff. So Ave lives on creativity. He is that kind of person. He wants to think outside the box. He wants to be his own individual person, doesn't want to follow his family. And then the Knave is really manipulative. And he is controlling chess pieces. As in, you people that are in his party are just his chess pieces. He's going to use you. So it was like, and there was also like illusion, the fact that Knave is a magician. It all fits so perfectly. So yeah, it was an easy choice.
Kyle, you chose Emperor for Gabe and Odin.
Yes.
Why did you choose Emperor to represent?
Because the Emperor is one of its major things is fatherhood, and that works kind of both ways. Because one, Odin is the All Father, and two is because his goal, at least my goal for him, is to become a better father. So therefore, it represents like kind of what he's doing, what he's currently doing now as like the video game, and what he wants to do.
Sage. So you gave me multiple. I don't remember if this was your first choice, but I ended up assigning Cade and Chrono the Hanged Man. So why did you choose the Hanged Man for those characters?
Well, he's imprisoned. Hangman's kind of in a difficult situation, and so is Cade. So it kind of felt like a natural match.
And then for Ethan, you chose World for Forest and Yellow. Why is that?
The World is the last Arcana card. It's 21, I believe, and it's kind of reminiscent of a cycle, or not the union, and some of its actual meaning does have to deal with the not necessarily the union of male and female, but also the differences between them, and personalities and charged by energies, both positive and negative. And there's just a lot of contrast with both Forest and Yellow. Forest being like the flipped towards you, and then Yellow being the away from you. Of course, it doesn't one for one, not a total correlation, but it is an interesting thing I pointed out to myself afterwards, after I chose it. But yeah, unity and duality and cycle.
So right off the bat, I will tell you, if any of you draws a Major Arcana that represents one of the PC characters, if you draw your own, so for example, if Joey happens to draw the Magician card for himself because he is Ave/Knave, for the entire session, he gets a blanket +2 bonus on all of his rolls. Wow. It's just flat out +2. It's a really good card for him to draw his own card. +2 just for the entire session is just +2 bonus. If anyone else draws the Magician card, they get +2 on all rolls that involve Ave or Knave. So if you're trying to like become his friend, if you're trying to influence him in some way, if you're trying to deceive him, if you for whatever reason want to attack him, if you want to assist him, you get a +2 bonus on checks to assist him. So those are really really cool thing to have if you have that for the day. And of course, same thing applies for each of your different characters. So
That's interesting.
It'll be interesting. So I would like for every person to go ahead and draw a card after you've shuffled it as thoroughly as you can from your Major Arcana, and let me know what you get. And I will tell you what bonus you get. Yes, Sage.
Temperance.
Does it matter if it's facing us or not? It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's upside down or right side up. I'm keeping it simple and just saying you just draw the card. Okay, so Temperance. I should also mention that every single major NPC also has a Arcana associated with them, which I will reveal over the course of the story, so no spoilers. So whoever the Temperance, if Sage happens to be interacting with said character, he would get a +2 bonus as well with anything that's associated with said character. But I'm not going to reveal who Temperance is yet. But in addition to that, you get the extra hero point ability Recover. You get to use Recover, which is you can spend a hero point, or in this case, you're not spending any hero points. This is just you have the ability to use your card to recover faster. It immediate to remove a dazed, fatigued, or stunned condition without taking an action. Among other things, this option allows you to use an extra effort previously without suffering any fatigue, etc., etc. So basically the same thing, except you're not spending a hero point, you're just spending the card. The biggest difference with the Arcana is that that is not a use it or lose it for the session, you can store it. You can just keep it for the next session if you want, but just know that if you store it, you can't draw it again. So you have to decide. You know, once it's in your hand per se, it stays in your hand until you decide to use it. And once you use it, it goes back into your Arcana deck. So that's one difference in the mechanic. Is that you can for all you want, you can just, you know, store up a whole bunch of primary arcanas and just be like, I'm just gonna play this and this and this and this and this if you really want to.
Session 21.
Session 21. I've got 21 cards. Yeah, I'll have the entire deck in my hand by session 21.
Exodia obliterate.
Exodia. Oh jeez.
This is even my final form.
So cool. So you got Temperance. Who else would like to share the card that they drew?
I got the sun.
You got the sun. Okay. Wow. So the sun is associated with your daughter, Angie.
Ooh.
So if you happen to meet Angie during this session 0, you will have +2 bonuses to influence Angie. In addition to that, you also get free use of the extra effort action, which means that you gain additional standard action during your turn without having the penalties of a fatigue. So again, you can hold on to it in your hand for this session, save it to the next session, or use it, and it goes back into the primary Arcana deck.
Was it the complete stuff of the... what was it called? The free...
Extra effort. It's
Extra
I
effort?
believe it's specifically you can cash in an extra action without triggering.
Right. A standard action without having to pay the penalty of a fatigue.
I drew Judgment.
Judgment. Damn.
I cannot reveal to you who that's associated with, but you gain a free use of the hero point ability Edit Scene.
Ooh,
That's a
that
cool
is
one.
really good.
That's so cool.
Save it, use it, or save it. Up to you. Joey, what did you get?
I have the moon.
The moon. Okay. Guess who the moon is associated with, Kyle?
I assume it is her twin, Raphael.
Correct. So if Joey happens to run to Raphael, you get +2 to influence Raphael. In addition to that, you get a free use of the extra effort bonus, which means perform one check with a bonus of +2 circumstance bonus or improve an existing bonus to a major bonus, which is a +5 circumstance bonus. This bonus can also negate a penalty, allowing you to perform the check with no modifier or reduce a major penalty from a -5 to a -2. So,
Cool.
you can hold that into your hand.
Both Gabriel's children in play.
Yeah, both are currently in your decks. And the nice thing is you all have your own unique decks. So even though you got the moon, you're holding on to the moon, Kyle still has the moon in his deck. So it doesn't affect him at all in whatever shape or form. Cool.